The first thing we're going to look at is O'Connor's passing game. He's a very skillful player in general, and his ability to throw long passes means that the Wallabies will be able to attack in wide channels effectively if that's what Deans wants him to do. Having played on the wing himself, O'Connor is good at identifying when to move the ball wide, and his passing is very accurate. He rarely throws a bad one, and it gives his outside backs a great platform to play off. It also gives great try scoring chances out wide for the Wallabies.
O'Connor, wide ball to Henderson. He gets it out the back door.
In this clip we see a link up between O'Connor and Kirtley Beale, and that relationship is something we'll look at again later on in the video. This clip here is a beautiful pass from O'Connor to score against Wales, highlights the threat once again out wide. In this final clip we see another good pass from O'Connor, and then we get a glimpse of his pace as he follows up a Berg Barnes kick. That brings us neatly onto the next strength of O'Connor's game.
Barnes kicking ahead, they need the bounce, it's O'Connor.
Alongside that pace, O'Connor has really good footwork. That makes him especially effective out wide, as we see in this first example. He's good at spotting gaps and soft shoulders in the defence. Even if he is wearing the number 10 jersey for the Wallabies against the Lions, I still think we'll see him popping up in these kinds of positions, which we'll look at in more depth later on. Despite being fairly small for international rugby standards, O'Connor is a strong guy in contact. He's not afraid to carry in traffic, and he's hard to put down on the deck. His running threat can also draw in loads of defenders, as we see on this loop move for the Rebels. O'Connor also likes to try and draw in defenders at the gain line before slipping passes inside or outside himself at first receiver. As you can see in these examples though, he's probably not the best at timing those passes, but the Lions definitely have to be wary about this and watch the runners inside and outside him. O'Connor also likes to attack off first phase possession using his footwork, and the Lions will definitely have to keep a close eye on him in these situations. He's hard to put down and he can jink off both feet. Also, his pace gets him to the gain line very, very quickly.
Here's O'Connor looking up, trying to find a hole.
Finally, we go back to O'Connor's ability to beat defenders out wide. Even though he's wearing the number 10 shirt for Rebels here, he finishes brilliantly out wide on the wing.
Higginbotham's pick up with one hand, suck it straight onto the ball. From there he offloaded to O'Connor, who trips himself up and reaches.
I didn't include too many examples of O'Connor's defence because he's just a good defender and there's not too much else about it. His tackle success rate is generally up above 90% and he's very brave. Dean seems to really like the solidity that O'Connor brings in this regard. Size difference means that the Lions will run at him, but he's a good defender. O'Connor's kicking game can be very hit or miss. As you can see from the first example, he can kick very well, but that's usually when there's not too much pressure on him. In the next clip, he misses touch badly and it sets up a brilliant counter-attacking opportunity for the Chiefs, which they actually managed to convert into a try. The Lions should be looking out for chances like that. That game against the Chiefs was particularly bad for O'Connor, with some of these examples coming up. He missed touch a few times and he had a block down kick for a try as well. But the main point is that the Lions should really focus on pressurising O'Connor's kicking game. The back row need to let him know they're getting close to him even if they really aren't. Kicking out of your own 22 is one of the hardest things to do for a relatively inexperienced out half, and the Lions have to go after him in that regard.
Cutting down the angle for James O'Connor.
This aspect of O'Connor's game is hard enough to show through video because it's more about what he doesn't do rather than what he does. As you can see though, O'Connor is hovering around behind the rucks and he kind of looks unsure of where to direct play next. In the second example, Australia have cut Wales to shreds down the left and the ball needs to be shifted wide into space on the right. O'Connor needs to dominate the situation, but he doesn't impose himself enough. I definitely think the Lions have an advantage in this area through Johnny Sexton.
Needs to come wide either side.
And they had numbers to the right.
However, the Wallabies will try to overcome this problem by using other players as playmakers, as well as O'Connor. In the first example, you can see Will Genia directing traffic. He tells the forwards which way to go. He goes left, he goes right. He's very good at this and it takes some of the burden off O'Connor. This passage of play actually ends with the try out wide on the left from him. Big O'Connor pass.
Good clean out by the Wallabies. And Genia goes in digging. Alexander for a standing start.
In the next few clips we see Berg Barnes stepping up as first receiver. That also allows O'Connor to operate a little bit wider as mentioned earlier on. The Wallabies may not go with Barnes at 12 against the Lions, but if it's Lealiifano, he'll have to do something similar and take on some of the playmaking duties. O'Connor has a bit of a tendency to stand back and watch on. In these examples, it's Barnes making things happen.
Pocock on the inside. He was sandwiched around the 22 mark. Genia, now Barnes, and he's going to kick across field for Turner.
I expect Curly Beale to start at fullback for the Wallabies, and one of the main reasons is his ability to interchange with O'Connor in the main playmaking role. He's another guy who can easily slot in at first receiver and make things happen. That'll also allow O'Connor to be freed up in the wider channels. On top of that, Beale's link-up play with O'Connor can be pretty special. Beale has played at Outhalf for the Wallabies himself, so he understands the role fairly well. His X-Factor brings out the best in O'Connor too, and together they can create some real magic, as we see on this try despite a little forward pass. If Dean selects both players, the Lions will need to be focused on limiting the amount of time that Beale and O'Connor get on the ball.
Sidey, Beale putting on some work, and Curtly Beale, welcome back.